Bumps and bruises, scratches and scrapes. Some of the ingredients that a good life makes. But sorrows become success, and as we aim for the top, we will pause if we must, but we will never stop. Welcome to Sim Soul Sessions. Hi there and welcome to Sim Soul Sessions. This is a safe space to share your stories. Tonight, the outgoing, effervescent but chill Sanjay Ramanan, television presenter, artiste and now entrepreneur, is talking to us about his life and how he has navigated a journey that didn't quite take him to his desired destination, but how he's exactly where he ought to be and why he's happy with that. Thank you for being here, my friend. How are you?
Wagwan.
It's good to see you.
Thanks
People
for having
are looking
me.
and saying, Sanjay in the chair, what?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for agreeing.
Yeah, man.
We see you on TV. How long now, Sanjay, in TV?
The TV journey started in 2004, and I said, well, this is like our 20th year for Rising Stars, and it's my 17th year for Intense.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a minute now.
And you say people ask you all the time, like, how do you get into TV? And you're like, you wouldn't know the first thing to tell them because you
I got so lucky.
back.
I got so lucky with TV. Like for me, like TV happened like in such a lucky way. Like it was really through music. TV happened through working with RF Cooper. RF had paired me up to do a song with Suede. Suede told me that they're starting this new show called Rising Stars and asked me if I wanted to be a production assistant, and that was really kind of the start of it. And then, through Ricky Chin, that was my productions, that was my introduction. And from there, just kind of never looked back.
You're very plugged into the industry on very many levels. Many don't know you have a degree in psychology, which is an interesting thing that we'll get into.
Yeah.
But music really has been your lifelong love and calling. You remember writing your first song when you were 8.
Yeah. I wrote my first song at 8 years old. I remember just watching TV, watching some music videos. At that time, I was in New York. And I remember just thinking to myself, I can do that. I can do that.
Just like that?
Just like that. And I just went downstairs at the time, and then I wrote about maybe 3 songs, cut them up, put them on some colored cartridge paper, made them look pretty. And then that was the start of my love affair with writing. And then, as a kid, like eventually we start write poetry and all of those things. And yeah.
You alluded to your time in New York. Let's talk a little bit about that because that's where you largely spent most of your, would you say your
formative years?
Formative years.
Yeah.
So you were here with your dad, and your dad figured better opportunities.
Yeah, we're originally from Portland Cottage, so down there is like kind of desolate, it's kind of very rural. So he thought that New York would be like, better opportunities for me. So he sent me to New York, and yeah, that's where I spent most of my formative years, from about 4 to about 11.
Some rough years, Sanjay. Yeah, because you say where you went to live, it wasn't the good parts.
It probably wasn't the worst, but it definitely wasn't the best. Like, by the time I left when I was 11 years old, a lot of my friends on the block had already started, carrying guns, stealing cars. And we were the youngest one was probably 10, the oldest one was probably 13. Yeah.
How did you navigate that?
At the time, yeah, it was, I guess, semi-normal, because, you don't really know anything different, and these are people that you know from before you even know yourself. So it just, and then I was lucky because this is at the age now when my father actually took me back to Jamaica. So I was able to kind of circumvent the fate that the other friends kind of fell to.
You say almost certainly, perhaps had you stayed.
I'm pretty sure. Like, my closest friends up there, one of them did life in prison for murder. The other one did 10 years for attempted murder. Like, and these were my 2 closest friends. We walked to school every day. Come back home together. Literally my neighbors.
What anchored you, Sanjay, when you were there? 4 to 11 is like really, really, really formative.
Yeah.
So I asked you how you didn't get in trouble, or did you? How did you anchor yourself and kind of stay clear outside of being brought home at the pivotal time where you were?
My auntie was a serious woman still, you know. Like, me get beaten almost every day of my life. My auntie was very serious. She was, you know what I mean, but she was hard working. She had a job. They worked hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But she really held a firm grip on us because she knew what the environment could do to her, you know?
Yeah. And so coming back home at how old?
11.
11.
Yeah.
Reintegrating into a place where you have not been for 7 years. Like since you were a kiddo.
Yeah.
You're in this environment now.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
I mean, that was more of a culture shock to me than, I was too young to remember going to New York. So coming back to Jamaica now was where I had the real culture shock. That was where, it was literally like almost like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type situation. Because here we're in New York, everybody poor, nobody have nothing. And then all of a sudden I come back and I go Hillel. Like, so, I mean, it was literally, I was there at the same time with Damien Marley and a lot of music people. So it was still like very musical and it was still cool. But for me, it was like a total shift in just reality. Mm-hmm. You know, and then I was coming from a prep school in New York where like one class maybe had 50 kids. And in Jamaica, the whole entire high school had 160 people. Mm-hmm. The entire high school. So it felt like almost like a big family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So perception-wise, who people think you are, where people think you fit, who you think you are, what your music is, all of it, has that been a bit of a maze for you to navigate? Because people look at you and they think, okay, he's brown and uptown.
And I mean, they're right, you know what I mean? But the part that they don't know is that there's many different elements to me. And if you listen to my music, you get that as well too, because you will hear like the hardcore dancehall stuff, but then you will hear the man of my words and you hear the different assets and the facets. So they're not wrong, it's just that they don't know the complete picture.
Yeah. And so you were here, you left to go to university because your dad was not a fan.
I want to say it wasn't even my father. It was, I mean, he definitely wanted me to go to university, but I wanted to go to university.
But he didn't want you to do music.
No, not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
But I mean, everybody, I mean, I graduated high school at 15 years old. So it's like I was young, and then at the time I had already had a song with Catcore on his solo album. So I had already got a foot in the door with music already. And he was saying, listen, like, go finish school. Go do school. If you have the opportunity to go university, finish school, you know what I mean, get something to fall back on and then come. Music I got always there for you. Music, you know what I mean, because like I said, I graduated high school at 15 with a song on like with Catcore. Like, you know what I mean, so it's like music, you know what I mean, music was already heavy on my brain at that time. Mm-hmm. So
you did your psychology degree?
I started out like every other university student from the West Indies as a business major, but then when we realized that I couldn't pass maths, I say, all right, you know what? I go to the registration office and I say, listen, we need a major. It's actually accounts. So after I couldn't pass maths, and then when I book up an accounts class, I said, I can't pass maths, I definitely not going to pass accounts. So I walk straight into the registration office. I need a major with no accounts and the least amount of maths. And she said, well, there's psychology. Poor me never even knew what psychology was. I thought psychology was philosophy. So I literally said to her, oh, you know, I'm a deep thinker. I think I'll be good at that. And then, so I changed my major to psychology. And by the time I realized that psychology and philosophy was different, I realized that my brain actually thought more along the psychology lines than philosophy.
But so you were exactly where you were supposed to.
I think so.
Yeah. We'll take a break. We're back with Sanjay. More after this. All right, folks, we're back with Sanjay. You guys know him from Digital Rising Stars. You know him from Intense, a fixture on the entertainment media landscape. He's gone through his own fair share and still working through some stuff like we all are. And so he's with us. You did your degree in psychology and you came back to Jamaica. Mm-hmm. The day you landed, was it? You went to Grafton? Was it the day you landed?
Yeah, so no, I mean, I told myself before I even reached Jamaica, I said, listen, any routine where you set, it can become your habit. So make sure the first thing you do is something musical. Set your musical routine so that it you know what I mean, that will become you. And before I left Jamaica, I remember I had a friend, Kimala Bennett. Mm-hmm. And I said, I always knew that Kimala Bennett had a famous father who was a very popular producer / songwriter. So I said, the minute the day I land, I go check Kimala and her father.
Hi, Mikey. Yeah.
So I mean, literally, it was either the day or the very next day that I land. I go check Uncle Mikey and Kimala, and none of them were home. Just some of the other children, Nikki B and some of the other brothers were there. And we did there and we smell something burn. And when we go into the room, we see the closet on fire. And we did there fight the fire, and we think we have it under control. And then all of a sudden, like the helper got to the back room and she said, Lord God, the house had burned down. The fire had spread to the back of the house, and there was no light at the time and no water. So we literally, like, we tried to get water from the tank until we just say, yo, everybody get your clothes, get your important things and run out and come, like, go for everything important, get your valuables. When I look, I see Nikki V come out with 2 polo shirts and a jeans.
Well, you know, valuable subject.
Big up Nikki V, big up brother.
At that time.
Yeah, so we say Nikki V not a passport. Go like, you know, Nikki V did young them time there. So after that, no, we get everybody out of the house and we're all there. We come out of the house and we did our wait, and then we see one fire truck come, run out of water. The second fire truck come, no water. The third fire truck must get lost. Eventually, we see a car. By this time, I'd never met Uncle Mikey. Eventually, I see a car pull up when the house almost burned down, and I see a car pull up. I see a man step out, and the first thing him say, like, me, I expect this man I got step out and just like want to kill somebody. I see a man step out to the car. It was the calmest person ever. The first thing that he said was, "Is everybody all right?" Mm-hmm. And right there, so I know he was in the presence of a great man.
Oh, Sanjay.
Yeah, man, Uncle Mikey, I'm a mentor, man. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
You know, I find that interesting, and this is not a comparison, but I'm thinking at that point, and within the context of your own relationship with your father, right? Mm-hmm. I was like a foil, no? Because you and
my father never got along.
Were not getting along. And it was worse when you came back and said you're going to do this music thing.
No, I mean, well, when I was in America, I was young, so that was different. But once I come back to Jamaica, I mean, we never really, by that time my personality formed, you know what I mean, I was a little bit of a, you know what I mean, I kind of knew what I wanted. I was always more of a creative type of person. I was more social. I'm more like my mother in that sense. And my father is very pragmatic. He's very, like, you know what I mean, logical, very transactional. So our personalities were very different. We never really, ever really got along.
Ever?
Not really. Not since I'm big enough to know myself. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, not to say that there weren't good moments, but we never really fully got along. Because he always knew what he wanted me to do, and I always knew what I wanted to do.
And the two could not mutually coexist.
No. So throughout my whole high school years, like, once I moved back to Jamaica, when I was like 11 or so, whatever, yeah, there was never much really.
At one point, you were living with your mom. You say you and your mom are cool now.
Yeah, my mother was a hothead, you know. Like, when she was younger, you know, she's very fiery. Like, you know, very emotional, very fiery. And so that was a little bit hard to deal for me, as you know, when I was younger. But I mean, as you get, I mean, she mellow with age and me mature with age. So, you know, I mean, we have a pretty good relationship now.
You ended up living with her for a period because
a short period of time.
That had put you out?
I don't remember what I did, but yeah, he put me out. And then I don't remember what I did with she, but then she kicked me back to him too. So, you know what I mean? But, so...
Sanjay, you speak of it so casually. Yeah. You know, he put me out and then she put me out. But that cannot be a good place for a young man to be.
I mean, to be honest with you, like I said, at that stage, I wasn't really close to any of them. So and plus there were incidents that happened. So it's not like, it wasn't even like no major surprise to me. It never feel no way at the time. It was just what it was. But like I said, one thing with my mother still, she's always been very supportive of whatever I chose to do. That's one thing I can always say about her. Yeah. Like, she and even my stepfather, Steve Ashley, they were very supportive of me. And at one point, they even had a place to live because of them.
Yeah. So let's go back to Grafton, right? Because at this point now, you're home. You don't really know where you're walking, but you're walking from New Kingston, where you live, to Vineyard Town every day.
So that's the thing, right? So after that connection, initial connection make with Uncle Mike, you know, and after that, now, I start go down to Grafton. But me never knew where Grafton there. Like, that, at that time, then, I just come back and here, say, war upon Mountain View. I never even know if me I walk past the war. I never know if me I walk through the war. I just know, me I go studio. So, me just, I remember the first day I get lost, I end up at Crossroads. I end up at Crossroads, and I have to ask people how me reach Vineyard Town or whatever, and somebody walk me to a taxi and put me in a taxi and said, this I got carry you right where the shooter or whatever. And then I don't even remember how I reached home that night there.
But you said friends would take you home or...
Usually somebody from the studio drive, so somebody would maybe drop me close.
But Sanjay, you say for that first year when you were home, you eat like one veggie patty.
One veggie patty.
Every day.
Me that live off $100 Jamaican a day that year. And it was, that's probably the equivalent of $500 now. You can buy one patty and have a little bit left. But at the time, I had just recently went vegan at the time. So I did stop eat. The only meat I did eat at the time was chicken. So I cut off chicken. And so I was really literally only eating one veggie patty a day. I lose like 30 pounds that year there. And I remember when I eventually went to the doctor said, you're not eat right. So if you're not gonna eat right, you need to have better eat fish and have an easy source of protein, because you're not getting the proper nutrients. So that's why I did start eat fish, and ever since then I've been pescatarian. But yeah, so that was the reality for that year. Yeah.
Rough reality.
Uncle Mikey can tell him, and there's a bakery down the road from Grafton, man. Like, that was the spot.
We have to break, but this go back to the phrase, brown uptown youth coming back to Jamaica. You're at this point you're slumming it, guy. No?
Yeah, I mean,
no real abiding city.
No, we was making the sacrifices. We were definitely making the sacrifices for sure.
Well, I want to know if those paid off. We'll talk about that.
I still want to know too.
We'll be right back with Sanjay after this. We're back with Sanjay, everybody, talking through some of the backstory of his life that you may not know about. So thank you again for sharing. Thank you. Really appreciate it. The sacrifices you made to make a name for yourself in music. We're going to talk about that musical journey in a little bit. But let's talk a little bit about how you've been able to reconcile and file the relationship with your father. Because 2 years ago, he passed away.
Yeah.
And you say, although you weren't close to him, you mourned.
Yeah, I mean, me and my father had a strange relationship. We're never close, but we're close. In the sense that, you know what I mean, like, we were always there for each other when we needed. You know what I mean? So I'm going to tell people, when it comes to your parent, like when you lose a parent, no matter what your relationship is, you mourn. Because if you're close to that parent, you mourn the loss of that relationship. And if you're not close to them, you mourn for what will never be.
That is deep.
Yeah, because I mean, maybe at some point we would when both of us age a little bit more and both of us mature a little bit more, we probably could have found some more common ground. But so you mourn that, you mourn the loss of that possibility.
You know, that's interesting, because you say with the age could have come some more maturity, and maybe something could have come out of that. I'm going to fast forward to last year when Arif passed, because you mentioned him at the top of the show, and the fact that that's where your journey started.
Yeah.
And when Arif passed away, you made a post that I thought was very significant. And I think that kind of mirrors some of the sentiments that you just echoed about your father. Am I far off in saying that?
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, in a way, you're right. I mean, but Arif was more like a big brother to me, you know? So with Arif's situation, yeah, we there's nothing that happened that we probably couldn't reconcile with time. We just, like when you vex with people, you kind of assume you're going to have the luxury of time. You know what I mean? I always feel like when you really spend the energy to be upset at somebody, there's a part here that almost want them to just do the right thing and make it up. You know what I mean? Like when you're really done with somebody, you don't even have the energy for vex with them. You move on. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that eventually me and Arif, under the right circumstances, we would have kind of come back together. I spent my whole 20s working with Arif. You know what I mean? My whole of my 20s I learned a lot from Arif Cooper. You know what I mean? But Arif was like that big stubborn brother. Arif was just, the big brother was just so stubborn.
Yes.
He was extremely stubborn, like, you know what I mean? And you know, him nickname say it all, Super Cooper. He really like saw, he knew how gifted he was. He knew how gifted he was, and he prided himself off of it, and he was a little bit stubborn with it. So I mean, granted, like I said, he was a very insightful person. He was an extremely talented person, and a lot of our kind of disagreements came because, like, I felt like I'm a hustler. Like, I'm a very productive, I'm a super productive person. Arif is the type of person that like to work at his own pace. Arif would drop one rhythm a year, and when that rhythm drop, it drop, you know.
Like a bomb.
When it drop, it drop. All the Irish rhythms were successful, but I mean, what me that I try to tell him is that, Arif, me can't bust at your pace. There's no way you can bust an artist dropping one rhythm a year. And the type of relationship that we had musically was supposed to be somewhat of like a, you know, like a Dave Kelly, Baby Sham type relationship, or, you know what I mean, that type of thing where you have one main producer and that person, even if you voice for other people, like, this is your camp, this is where most of your stuff. So I'm saying, you know, how am I gonna bust if my main producer is recording me, like releasing one song for me a year? So I mean, like I said, it was just at the time, in your 20s, you don't have the communication skills, you don't have the you know what I mean, you don't have the maturity to deal with things in a way that just the way that can give you the desired outcome. So, you know what I mean? So, and at that age, you take everything personal, or me specifically. You know what I mean? You take things personal when you're younger. Now, if that were to happen to me now, you know what I mean? I know I can communicate in a specific way, you know what I mean, without making it even reach where it did reach before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did just kind of, I mean, that post that I made for Arif was really just for saying, like, I mean, we always assume that we have time. You know what I mean? When you're vexed with somebody, especially somebody that had such a big impact on you and somebody was like a big brother, you assume, so you're going to have time for kind of, you know what I mean? And death is very final.
You process death differently.
I feel like I do. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like death is something that we all have to do. It can't be that bad. Like, you know, every single one of us, no matter how good, no matter how bad you are. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like, I try not to get too selfish when it comes to death. Like, you know what I mean? I try not to mourn people's life. I try to celebrate their life. I try to look at, like, the good things. Like, you know what I mean? And it's natural. You're human. You're gonna feel sad. You know what I mean? Especially if you had a very good relationship, you're gonna miss that person's presence. But like I said, I try to tell myself that, you know what I mean, death is really just a transition that we all have to make at one point. So don't look at it in such a pessimistic way.
Gotcha. So you look back and you celebrate. You don't look back and you mourn. You say you're not really a rear view person.
Not much of a rear view person.
You're not going that way, so you're not really looking back.
I don't.
Or maybe you look back insofar as it helps you to move forward, right?
You know, at this stage of my life, I'm wondering if I'm not a rear view person and become a memory just not good, or if I really just don't hold on to things. It might be a little bit of both, but I don't tend to, I mean, I reference the past, you know what I mean? Because I like you say, you know what I mean, so you need to know where you're going in order for kind of know, you know, you need to know where you're coming from in order to know where you're going, or else you might end up going in circles. But so I definitely reference the past, but I don't, like, you know what I mean, I'm not a rear view person. I try to learn the lessons that were present, and I try to take that and move forward.
Yeah. Let's talk about your career on the other side of the break. And how you're reconciling where you are with that at this point in your life. We're back with Sanjay after this. He's not a rear view person, but I want to know how he looks back and reconciles where he is now with his career in music. It's what you always wanted to do. It's who you always wanted to be. Yeah. Are you where you wanted to be with that? And if not, how have you processed that part of your life?
No, definitely not. I mean, you know what I mean? I thought by now I'd definitely be like a mainstream name in dancehall. So that I still haven't gotten that. Well, Man of My Word is my closest thing to a defining song, but it hasn't been like that big monster breakthrough song. Like, so I mean, there's been a long time doing it, and there's still not that defining song fully. So definitely not. But I mean, Music,
Does it feel like a dream unfulfilled?
not really. I mean, because music is something that's very fulfilling just by doing it. Like, you know, to be honest with you, like my favorite aspects of music has always been the creation process. To have something as a thought, get an inspiration and manifest it as something literally tangible. That's always been my favorite part of music. I never really loved necessarily performing in front of people. To me, it's weird. Like to be you're standing on a stage, and then you have all these people looking at you to just entertain them. That's a little bit weird. Like, you know,
But look, Sanjay, a part of your challenge is like, who are you in the space, right? And the lack of I don't want to say lack of connection, the
direction.
Disconnect between who people perceive you to be and the kind of music initially that you are putting out.
Yeah, that was a big factor with it. So it's like I said, like, you know what I mean, you had this brown uptown youth singing about bedroom war and bad man this and gunman, like, you know, and that was because like music for me has always been cathartic. Like, you know what I mean, my connection with dancehall, and I do, like I said, I do many different types of music. I always had the man of my word type songs, and then I always had the bedroom war type songs as well too. It was because music was like my creative expression. Like, you know what I mean, I was the only child growing up, so, you know what I mean, music was my brother. Like, you know what I mean, yeah, music was my sibling. So I use music to express myself, and so whatever I felt is how I expressed it. Like, and so my connection with dancehall came because of my like rebellious nature, and dancehall is very aggressive. So it was my vehicle to channel that aspect of my personality. So for me, it was that type of like vehicle of communication, but I wasn't really thinking about it in terms of how the marketplace would receive it. Because to me, I was just thinking if it's good art, people will appreciate good art. But I mean, and this is something that RF always tried to impart on me as well too. It's like, you know, RF always tell me, sing some dancing song, my brother, sing some, focus on the girl, them, focus on the girls.
I can hear him.
You know what I mean? It's like, so, but as a young youth, I was also stubborn. Like, me I tell RF, said, no, like lyrically, none of them are better than me. Like lyrically, like, you know what I mean, the people need to hear that. Like, and the bad man thing them and the whatever, the violent thing them, it was really just like creative expression. And for me, it was really just art.
But then people heard your music.
Yeah.
And they saw you and they were like, this guy is not that guy.
No, I tell people all the while, when you look at the most successful artists in any genre, they look the way they sound. There's a cohesion between their image and their sound. Junior Gang looks like a looks and sounds like a Junior Gang. Bounty Killer looks and sounds like a Bounty Killer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people's image and their sound need to be cohesive in order for it to feel authentic and for to have that connection. With me, like, nobody couldn't imagine, like, people don't know my lifestyle, people don't know nothing about me, like, so they just know that they see this person that is not your stereotypical dancehall image. And to kind of illustrate that even perfectly, I remember the first time I meet Bounty Killer. Like, Bounty said, "Youth, are you sing that song there?" Like, at the time when they was about gimme, but DJ Wayne used to play the song like non-stop at the time. DJ Wayne did love the song, and so at that time DJ Wayne was one of the hottest things on radio. And Bunty, the whole industry used to listen to Wayne. So Bunty hear the song, but he never know who did it. So him hear this big voice, this kind of novel rhyme scheme, and then when him see me at the studio, he must say, "Youth, you're bad, but your image." Man said, "Y'all walk around with this big curl." At the time, I had like big curly hair always out, and you say, "Y'all walk around with this big curly hair and Jesus slippers and everywhere you go." Man said, "Yo, plait up your hair, you know what I mean? Look like how you sound.
Some shades and..."
Yeah, put on, look like how you sound, and that was great advice, to be honest with you. It's like him's literally telling you, based on what me I hear, it is really good material, but when I see you, there's a disconnect. You don't look the part. How you gonna sound like Bounty Killer and look like Eminem? Like, yeah, you know, you know what I mean? So,
oh, what a conundrum.
Yeah.
But then, so your issue was authenticity with the masses, but then in backing into that image that people were telling you to do, wasn't that kind of being inauthentic to yourself?
It was. I mean, and that's why I never really did it. I mean, I used to plait up my hair after him tell me that and do little things out of it. But I realized, I mean, at the end of the day, image was always, people always used to cuss me about my image, because I never cared.
You didn't care.
I never cared.
Do you regret not caring?
Do I regret not caring? I should have taken it a little bit more serious.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, I don't think it would have made a difference. Because, I mean, in terms of, for the type of music I was doing, no matter how I tried to look, there still would have been a disconnect. Because I could never be a Bounty Killer or a Vibes Cartel more than a Bounty Killer or a Vibes Cartel. So what I should have been doing is I should have been writing those same songs and just not releasing them. I should have been focusing.
Or giving them to somebody else?
Or writing them for other people. That's what I should have been doing. But I was too stubborn. I would never do that. Cause I literally thought nobody was better than me lyrically. So I was not going to give those away to anybody else. And I thought my lyrics, I knew the obstacles, but I thought I was good enough lyrically to just be impressive in that way. But that was youthful exuberance.
So regrets? You tell me you don't really have those.
No, I don't regret it.
No regrets.
I don't regret that because, like I said, even though I still feel like with all of that said and done, I wasn't ready. I don't think I was ready. Even when I listened to my songs, no, I thought that was the greatest thing at that time. When I listened to my songs, no, I said, no wonder I couldn't bust. I couldn't even write a chorus. Like, you know what I mean? So, I did one for them. I soon bust.
Oh, I love that. All right. Well, when you do, we know there'll be people who are cheering you on. So be a good vibes. Go ahead, Laura.
You don't know, so we're a brother from a different mother and a brother. Yeah, man, you don't know, so I love and respect and blessing, honors and manners, brother.
Yo, Jay, Wagwan, where you doing? You know what I'm telling you, bro? This when you see me and Zidane cook, stop take the pictures then and the videos then. Put it on social media and I tell people, say, you cook it, bro. You must stop it. I know that I want to tell them. I want to tell you, say, who is one of the realest youth them we ever know, right? If you're at top of the pinnacles, you want your friend them up there too. Or even people you don't even know, you just associate with them. That's how real big, bro. I love and respect you from the heart, bro. You know that, right?
As the saying says, respect goes where it comes from. Anybody who knows you can attest that you are one of the realest who ever walked the face of the earth. And with that said, I just want to remind you, continue being the impactful and selfless person that you are. And as one of my favorite songs from your catalog suggests, Sanjay, you are one of the last real ones left. Last real ones left. Big up yourself. Heart alone.
Thanks for always being a positive role model and definitely for all the inspiration over the years in terms of creativity, music, and even entrepreneurial with everything you're doing with Belly. Sending love and blessings on behalf of me and the rest of the family. Bless them.
We're very, very, very proud of you. Proud of what you're doing. Proud of what you're doing for the culture, the entertainment, and everything that you're doing right now. And we're very proud of you. So keep doing what you're doing and stop coming on my pub. Come take me things and don't pay me my money.
Just want you to know how proud we are of you. I've watched you grow from a baby into a big man. You have always been that committed person. Committed to family, committed to work. You always find the time to spend with your family regardless of your busy schedule. Just want to encourage you guys to keep doing what you're doing. Keep blazing the trail. Enough love.
I consider you to be a brother to me. If there's two words I could use right now to describe you, I would say real youth. I feel like I can call you about anything, whether it's business, whether it's something personal, whether it's relationship, whether it's I just want to get some joke. I feel like I can call you, and that is special. And I just want to say you're like a brother to me, and I really cherish the friendship. And I just want to say big up, big up, big up.
I'm so happy that our paths crossed. Even as a kind of uncle, nephew kind of situation, which I treasure. You have a wonderful work ethic, and I know it's paying off, and it's going to pay off, I mean, in volumes later on. But just the occasional call, uncle, what's going on, means so much to me. Let us hope to continue, this wonderful friendship and this wonderful relationship. So whatever good is happening to you right now, it deserves every ounce of it. Bless up yourself.
Auntie Pat is in heaven smiling. Granny is in heaven smiling. Your granny used to call you Bacha. I am so proud of where you are now, and I am proud of where you're about to go. So I just want to tell you I love you so much, and keep it up.
Boy, if Granny was alive, she would be super proud of you. She would be so proud of you. But the man you become. I was Granny favorite, but when you're born, man, election run the same day I lose my seat. And Debbie and myself is super proud of you. As how you handle things, especially from your father died. Yeah, man, so continue to do what you're doing. And bless up. Respect. Love you always.
Two things come to mind. The first of which is how loyal you are and how dependable you are. Sanjay, the next thing that may have to I've come to admire for is your drive to create and continue creating year after year, project after project, and your discipline to execute. It's extraordinary. And brother, I know I don't have to tell you to keep going, because that's natural and it's inside. It's what you do, it's who you are, brother. But listen, we love you. Your friends love you, your family love you, and we're there right with you every time, because you're always there with us, brother.
Thank you for everything you do for us. I really love you.
Just want to show you some love. We really appreciate you. You've been a really, really loyal friend. You've been a man of integrity. And, certainly you know the importance of that. So, really grateful for this opportunity to just tell you while you're here that we love you and we appreciate you.
I just want to let you know that I'm so proud of you. All your hard work and all those sleepless nights have not gone unnoticed. To see you constantly creating your own path and following your dreams is so inspiring. I absolutely love having you as my big brother. Thank you for your honesty, the great advice, and the laughs throughout the years. Lastly, thank you for being you, because there's truly no one like you. I love you so much. Take care.
Ever since I was a little boy, or as long as I've known you, really, you've been this superstar of the family, the outgoing one, the creative, and seeing you get opportunities like this will never surprise me, but always fill me with pride. You taught me how to read, you taught me how to do math, but what you probably didn't know is that you taught me how cool it was to just put yourself out there and just be you. So thank you for that. Go do what you do best, and I wish you nothing but success on your future endeavors. Big up.
Filming this video just to give you your flowers and just to express how much you mean to me, how much I appreciate you, how grateful I am for having you in my life. I'll never forget it was you who taught me how to read as a baby. I think you played a huge role. Not I think, I knew you played a huge role in the development as me as a person. I've always looked up to you. Even to this day, I probably yesterday when I tell people, say, Sanjay, yeah man, Sanjay from Rising Stars, I'm brother that But you know that I love you and I appreciate you, and I'm so glad to call you my brother.
Son, I can't help but beam with pride and admiration, not just for your achievement in life, but for the person you have become or grown to become. I admire the fact that you have to hear all sides to a story and you never judge anyone. I've also listened to people on the streets, people who are not aware that I'm your mother, and I've always hear them saying nothing but good things about you. What a balanced young man he is. And I smile and I beam with pride. I would like to wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And remember, as much as I don't say it often, I'd like to say that I love you very much.
Wow. You do some real research there, so you got deep. Yeah. No, those are 85% of the people that I hold very near and dear to my heart. Yeah, a lot of them not even in Jamaica right now, so you really go hard with that one there. I love everybody in that video. Yeah. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. We want to talk about what's next for you. They've spoken about your drive and your passion, and you are growing and you are diversifying, right? And we want to talk about how you're leveling up your life and what's missing after this. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. We're letting it Sanjay with us. You are materializing different things in your life now. You're still writing, which is great. You're still recording.
Still writing, still recording. I actually recently released an album called Man of My Word. It's my first complete body of music with all, like, it's a completely live album.
Oh.
Yeah, completely live album. All that type of feel there.
That you've gone into business too.
Yeah, I've gone into business. I've been able to monetize my passion. So I have a business called Belly 23, which is a creative guest house. It's essentially a dance hall guest house.
A dance hall guest house?
Dance hall guest house. We have travelers that come from all over the world to stay with us and like learn the culture. And so yeah, we've been able to carve out a real strong niche in that. It's just based off of my unique experience.
Okay.
And I've also been promoting, like, we have an event called Dance Hall Mecca that we do twice a year. In January, we had the one where we had the Dance Hall Queen competition, and then in summer, it's like a festival. It's a 6-day festival in Ocho Rios. People come from all over the world for that one as well, too. And right now...
Good things happening in business.
Good things, yeah.
What's happening in love?
And this is the part of the interview where I got my ball now.
What's happening in love? You've not been so lucky in love, Sanjay.
No. I mean, I haven't been, throughout my life, I've always been very focused on, like, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to achieve. I've never really been as purposeful with when it comes to my relationships and with women. But, you know what I mean, when I get to that stage right now, so, I mean, there's a really good person in my life right now that I'm very happy with. So let's see.
Are you being as intentional as you told me you start to need to be? Because this business, as you know, and with what you do, it will eat your relationship for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But you say you're at the point where you want that stable, lasting relationship.
Let's put it this way. I'm reading the books to help me get to that stage. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm in that process. Like, you know what I mean? It's definitely like, when you've lived your life a certain way for as long as I have, you know what I mean? It kind of becomes, in a sense, but I mean, you also get to a stage where you realize that you need for change. And you need to know what's important. And as we said, be as conscientious and purposeful with that aspect of your life. Because when it comes to love and relationships, I've always just kind of let the cards fall where they may. And I mean, I was always so focused on what I wanted to achieve that, like, women were just, you know what I mean, they were there, you know. And so now, as you say, I mean, we're at a stage of life now where we need to kind of be a little bit more purposeful with that. And so, yeah, I do plan to kind of, I'm in the process of making that mental shift before I can make the physical shift, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of doing the soul searching, you know what I mean, to kind of mentally get myself fully to that, because I've already started the process. You know what I mean? I'm definitely much more secure in my communication style and those types of things and what I want. So, I mean, work in progress.
That psychology degree served you well, eh?
I like to think so.
Yeah.
When people ask me, you know, you never use a psychology degree, I said I use it every single day of life.
It's funny, you say none of what you have is because of what you've achieved in school. You're really where you are because you've been a good person. People like you and people like to be around you. And there's a lesson in that for somebody watching.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, you know what I mean? I said, yeah, I mean, I was smart. Yeah, I was competent, but there were smarter people around me. There was way more competent people around me. When I started in TV, I had zero experience. I was like, Swede literally called me up and said, you want to come do this? And I was like, yeah. And that was the start of my career. So at I went from a production assistant to a TV producer. At every single step of the way, there was somebody who saw my potential and liked me enough to train me to do that role. They didn't have to do that. They could have just hired somebody who was qualified to do that role. So I tell people all the time, you know what I mean, like, you should be competent and you should be, like, skilled, but make sure the work that you put into that aspect of it, you also put into your self-development, because the people that have the power to make decisions will always pick the people that they want to work with. And so like a lot of the things that I've achieved and a lot of the opportunities that I've gotten in my life, I didn't get them because I was the most qualified person.
Yeah.
Didn't get them because I was the most skilled person. I got them because people liked having me around.
Yeah. And so now you're at a place where you say you're happy, Sanjay.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm definitely not as angry as I was as a kid. Like, I'm happy. I'm happy. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's that happiness about?
I think it's just like a security in who you are. By this time you kind of have a very good sense of self. So there's that. There's contentment with what you've done with your life and what you're doing with your life. And there's also just kind of confidence in the direction that you're headed in.
I love that for you. I don't think there's any more that you can say. You just kind of summarized the entire show in one statement. You and I are coming from a good ways back, from the days of Arif, so I know the story well. I am proud of you.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you, babe.
Matter of fact, I should tell you that a friend of mine, when I told a friend of mine who lives in California, is not Jamaican, I didn't even think she knew anything about the culture like that. I mean, I know she's into Jamaican culture, but when I told her I was doing your show, I said, oh, I'm doing this emotional show tomorrow. And she's like, Sim, so? I said, yeah, you know the show? She's like, yeah, I follow her on Instagram, and I follow her.
Cali? What's her name?
Her name is Morgan.
Hi, Morgan.
It was actually an ex-girlfriend of mine. And she literally said she would make a great therapist. She just got her degree to be a therapist. So she said that's what she does for a living. And she said she would make an excellent therapist.
Oh, thank you, Morgan. I've gotten the counseling certification, so let's see where we go from there. Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you.
Being in the big chair. Time to lead the show with our affirmation. Oh boy. Okay, so riding the life wave can sometimes make you feel like you are being pulled down, you are under, you are fighting to keep your head above water. Yet every time you think this is it, you somehow find yourself back to the surface, right? And you may look around and see that the waves have altered your course. Where you washed up or where you showed up is not where you'd planned, but you're still here. Yes, you're wet, and yes, you're weary, but with another chance to dive in and swim again. And yes, it is a tiring endeavor, but when all is said and done, your muscles are well built, your body, your mind, and your heart are stronger for the next time it happens. And you know what? The direction that you showed up in could very well have been the one you were destined for in the first place. You just had to swim the long route to get there. So my advice, keep your head above the waves, keep your head above water, make the best of all your days, take the time making more of more, and be grateful that you made it back to shore. Tonight we are affirming, my life vest equips me to make the rest the best. That is our soul food and our show for this evening. Thank you very much for watching. We are back next week with another story of the power of the human spirit. Until then, every blessing, and please remember to count your blessings. Night, everybody.